All right, welcome to Dual Redundancy, the only podcast where you can hear all latest in television and entertainment news with too many hosts with exactly the same opinions. I'm one of those hosts, David Allen, and another one is
John Berwick, and a third one is
Kyle Bridger. I will say that I am the Adrian Pimento to John's Hitchcock to Dave's Scully.
Scully. I can't remember if Hitchcock or Scully was on the iPad for the entire final season of
It was
Brooklyn
Hitchcock.
Nine-Nine. Hitchcock, yeah. So just you could phone it in this week, I guess. You don't have to do the full Dual Redundancy, but man, can't really banter too much because I have a lot to do tonight, a lot to bring up with you guys. The Emmys, the premise. We have Brooklyn Nine-Nine, of course, and we have Kyle's Corner. What is that? We'll get to it. We'll get to that at the end.
Get ready for that.
Get ready. But John, what's this first segment?
In and Out Points.
In, order out. In, order out. In, out.
Yes, it is In and Out Points, and it's a special Emmys edition of In and Out Points. We're talking about the 73rd Primetime Emmy Awards that took place on Sunday night, September 19th on CBS and Paramount Plus. All right, we're going to break it all down. The ceremony, the awards, the snubs. Going into the night, The Crown and The Mandalorian led nominations with 24, followed closely behind with WandaVision with 23. But if you look at just the major nominations, the ones we saw during the broadcast, it was Ted Lasso, which led with 13, followed by The Crown and The Handmaid's Tale with 11. When it came to the actual winners, it was mostly the story of 6 shows during the actual broadcast. The Crown led major wins with 7, followed by Ted Lasso with 4, Hacks and Mayor of Easttown with 3, and then Last Week Tonight in Queen's Gambit with 2. We go overall, including those Creative Arts Emmys, we get The Crown and the Queen's Gambit with 11, SNL with 8, and then Ted Lasso and The Mandalorian with 7. All right. Overall thoughts on those numbers, Kyle. Did the right shows get the wins? What was snubbed? We'll break it all down, but what are your first overall thoughts?
I mean, it pretty much lined up with our thoughts and I think we did a pretty good job with the, breaking it down and predicting what we thought was going to win. And, I feel like those were probably the better shows of the year and they probably deserved it the most. And it wasn't very surprising. And I mean, you could tell where the night was going to go based on early on, where some of these winners were coming from. You could really, really tell, Ted Lasso was going to sweep and all this stuff. So I thought it was good that Hacks got some love in there with the writing and stuff like that. It wasn't just a full Ted Lasso night, but I got to say it was pretty predictable and we did a pretty good job with it.
Yeah, we actually did do a pretty good job with it. It's wild to me that in a year, technically, of the pandemic, when a lot of people are probably at home and there's less stuff to watch, people, instead of watching more stuff, seemingly watch the same 6 shows.
Mm-hmm.
Like nothing was shared. It was, we only watched these 6 during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have much time for some reason, but yeah, just these 6 shows, and those were probably some of the better shows of the year, but definitely, of course, things were missing among the rest of the winners here. But we're going to go down each section. The show this year changed their layout from last year. Last year they bunched up comedy, drama, limited series to kind of into sections, so the show could avoid any noticeable sweeps this year, because last year was like all Schitt's Creek, all this, all didn't really work out. I mean, there was some sweepage this time around, but we're going to keep this layout because it kind of works well for us. And we're going to start off with drama because that was the big sweep. The Crown got all 4 major acting wins. It got writing, it got directing, it got series. It's the first drama to go 7 for 7. Schitt's Creek did it last year for comedy, but the first drama is The Crown to do it. What do you think of that, Kyle? I know you're a Crown guy.
Yeah, I mean, and with, this show, it was probably, to me, one of the best of the year, production value wise. The acting is phenomenal. And in a down year, you probably would expect a show like this to clean up because, there wasn't much else. I mean,
Yeah, what's the competition?
yeah. So, I mean, what else can you expect? And, I feel like everyone was well deserved in their win. And it's wild to me that it's Netflix's first series win, but I think it's a good series to hang its hat on because it has all of those great elements, the performances, and the direction and the production value of it is just so high. So
Yeah. And this, I mean, it was an easy pick with our predictions, and we were mostly in line with all of them. The one we had a little different. We had Michael K. Williams over Tobias Menzies in supporting actor. Tobias Menzies, Dark Horse, won. Kept the crown sweep going. And then we did have Emma Corrin over Olivia Colman in the lead category, but I guess we learned between the Oscars with Glenn Close when she was the favorite going into it.
Do not
Coleman
bet
always
against.
surprises.
Yeah.
She's always surprising.
Do
She's
not
always
bet
delivering great
against her.
speeches too. So I mean that's part of it. But one actor that won, Gillian Anderson, that was a lock. We knew going in it's going to be her. She had a perfect portrayal of Margaret Thatcher, almost like she embodied her. Maybe got some help from her. John, do you have a clip? Maybe we can get some answers if she got any help from Margaret Thatcher.
Just to kind of continue with the whole Margaret Thatcher thing. First question, have you talked to her about this role at all? And secondly, why do you think it has taken America so long to get a female leader? When all of these other countries and look at what Margaret did in the UK.
Well, I have not spoken to Margaret.
She was nice. She was real nice about it. In that post win interview there she did, but you could tell as soon as she said it, like her head kind of really.
Yeah.
Okay. This is what I'm dealing with here.
Because you could tell with the way the reporter said the second second point that she was trying to make, she was so confident, spewing it out. And it's like, dude, you sound stupid. You sound so stupid.
Yeah. No word from her. Maybe we'll get something. Margaret Thatcher, maybe we'll tweet in the next week or so, maybe to get a comment, but we're gonna have to just wait and see. We're just gonna have to keep us on pins and needles to see if she will reach out. Might be a while.
Anything happens remotely in the world. Margaret, was that you? Were you speaking to me?
Yeah, isn't that the book? Is it me, Margaret? It's God, or isn't there some book?
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Another win. This one was maybe a surprise for some people. Claire Foy, she won for Guest Actress at the Creative Arts. This will be questionable for me, Kyle, because I see the headlines that she was on screen for a total of 1 minute and 49 seconds this season. If you add in the voiceover she did, because she's sitting and reading, that's her scene, we get about 4.5 minutes there. But she's on screen for less than 2 minutes. Was that the best guest performance of all of television this past year?
I don't even remember it.
Good. It's that good.
Yeah, it's that good. No, I mean, from the screenshot, I vaguely remember it, but yeah, I mean, this happens sometimes. I always bring up this happened with Alec Baldwin. I can't. Glenn Ross. I think he had like 49 seconds and he won supporting actor or something like that. So it happens. Maybe people just saw her name and was like, okay, because I don't know how else, this works out.
Yeah. And from what I understand, she does deliver a great performance in the first 2 seasons of The Crown, which she won an Emmy for the lead actress in. But was it really worth it? 2 minutes out of all the other guest performers that we have this season. I don't know about that. I will say, this is drama. It's not comedy one. This is my issue with the guest comedy actor category. We got to get the SNL people out. We can't have these SNL hosts because every year, the last few years, it's just, Dave Chappelle hosted SNL. Oh, click. Eddie Murphy hosted SNL. Click. It's just like, it's a name and they host SNL one episode. Boom. They get their Emmy for that. And it's like, there's so many other guest performances out there. Give them a variety category. But all right, that's another topic. We're still in drama. Since The Crown dominated so much, obviously other shows are going to have less wins. Well, The Handmaid's Tale won a losing record. It's the third most nominated program going into the evening, and it won 0 Emmys, 0 for 21.
Wow.
Not since Mad Men, which had a 0-17 record a few years ago, have we seen a shutout like this. So now it is the losingest program in a year to lose all 21 nominations. I guess it's just an honor to be nominated, but
yeah, I mean, I don't know how the show is going now, but to me it just got to be overload. I need some levity. Everything bad is happening. Like, what is happening? Why?
Yeah, I just realized it's Mad Men, Handmaid's Tale, correlation. Elizabeth Moss, is it some kind of curse? The show starts off
the
well
Elizabeth
in the first
Moss
few seasons,
curse.
gets some Emmys, but then towards the end it loses them. I don't know. It's burns bright and then that's it. But yeah, there was a lot of drama series. Lovecraft Country went from, only won 2 out of 18. WandaVision won 3 out of 23 in limited series. Yeah, it's just, what can you do? What can you do?
I just don't think with something like WandaVision, I don't think
superheroes weren't for them.
Yeah, I don't think that's the vibe that the Emmys, go for. That's why I was so surprised to see The Boys nominated for something. So, so I think WandaVision is actually pretty lucky because in a more talented year like next year, I don't think they would have gotten as many nominations as they did this time around.
Yeah, I think a lot of these shows too. It's like, some of these shows getting like 20 nominations, 23 nominations. It's like any other year we'd be back to, I think, normal numbers. But because people went all in on 6 shows, then this is what we get. But
and I gotta be honest, I really liked WandaVision. I think I haven't finished what is it, Loki yet, but I really liked WandaVision. I thought it was like appointment viewing. I was tuning in every week to watch, but I don't think, when those other shows come back, when you think of Succession or Better Call Saul, that it's in the same echelon,
Yeah. Well, all this helped out Netflix because it was going to be a crown night. Netflix finally got their series win that you alluded to. They've been looking for years for this. They were one of the first streamers on, and then they were the last ones to win because 2017 Hulu won with Handmaid's Tale. They were the first. 2018, 2019 Amazon got both Marvelous Miss Maisel and Fleabag, and then technically Apple TV Plus even beat them this year by minutes with the Ted Lasso win. But they finally win here. They got their series win, and Netflix actually beats HBO for the very first time at the Emmys. They won a total of 44 Emmys. This ties a record with CBS in a single year to get 44 wins. HBO second with 19, followed by Disney Plus with 14. And going into the night, though, HBO actually was leading in total nominations, 130 to Netflix's 129. But it's Netflix did it, 44 to 19.
You just gotta assume with the sheer number of shows that they have, they're gonna find some categories that they are, gonna win in. Some kind of production, makeup, casting. There's so many categories that, and the sheer number of shows that they have, it's like, you can be recognized for one of those categories for one of your shows, sure. But The Crown cleaned up, man.
Oh, definitely cleaned up. The other two, Comedy Unlimited, mostly split between two shows, and that's exactly what we said during our predictions. Let's start off with comedy. HBO was helped with Hacks, but it was Ted Lasso's night. And our predictions were mostly correct, except for supporting actor. We thought there was going to be the Lasso vote split. There was 4 out of 8 people, or no, it was 4 out of 6 people, I believe. Either way, it was all Ted Lasso, pretty much. But Brett Goldstein, he won as Roy Kent. I was glad to see it because for me, out of those performers that were nominated in that category, he's my favorite of the 4. I mean, it's definitely more of a showier performance than some of the other ones, but a fun character. Cool to see that he was, he's a writer on the show as well. So, good for Roy Kent, Roy F. Kent.
Yeah.
That's a close one on the censors there. Couple of.
And I mean, I don't know if we're going to talk about the show later, but I was just thinking about you the whole time. Like, this would be Dave's nightmare right now. They're just dropping F-bombs. It's like no care. It was like really early on, just like boom, boom, boom. But
not messing around. John would have to be adding bleeps throughout the whole thing. So be on your best behavior, Roy Kent. But before the final award for comedy series, it was neck and neck between Ted Lasso and Hacks. Both of them had 3 wins during the broadcast. Hacks won lead actress, writing, and directing, while Lasso had 3 acting awards. So it was back and forth. But then, in the end, Ted Lasso won. I know you mentioned you were happy to see Hacks get some love. With everything being, over here, you happy with how things turned out between these like 6 or 7 categories?
Yeah, I mean, I like Ted Lasso. I think it was the better of the 2, especially that first season. I always talked about the timing of the show when it came out. I thought it was perfect during the pandemic, and I think it's what people wanted, and it makes people feel good. And, that was expressed in a lot of the speeches. And I think, that came across with the wins it got. But it's also good that Hacks got some love because there was, good performances, some good writing in there. So yeah, I'm glad that they kind of
the love.
Shared some love there.
All right, we got a little bit of sharing in the limited categories. They ended the night with limited series this year instead of usually drama series because this was the more competitive category of the night. Sure. We said it was going to be a story between Mayor of Easttown and the Queen's Gambit. Exactly what happened. Gambit won a lot of tech wins. It got directing during the broadcast. Meanwhile, it was a near acting sweep for Mayor. It was we got Evan Peters, Kate Winslet, of course. Julianne Nicholson, I was talked a little bit out of that as a dark horse pick for supporting actress, but she did it. She got in there. I still thought we could have gotten a Catherine Hahn something for WandaVision, but they really just did not like WandaVision. Even Paul Bettany lost to that Ewan McGregor Halston. Like we were not expecting that.
Yeah, that was. I think that was the biggest wild card for me of the night. I really did not expect that. I think that was the rest of them. Yeah, I kind of expected, but that one was a surprise.
It's wild because we said, okay, it's the Hamilton thing. They're not going to pick those 3 Hamilton actors, and you had like The Undoing, Hugh Grant in there, Paul Bettany, and then Halston. So it's like, okay, well, I guess they really did not like, WandaVision. They guess didn't remember Undoing, and then it just went to Halston, which is weird because the Hamilton guys, none of the Hamilton guys won any acting awards. But then we'll talk about it later. It wins pre-recorded variety special there, so it's kind of like, that's a choice. But we put all of our eggs in the Queen's basket here. It was, it's okay. Instead of going like, okay, let's do one on this one on that one, and then get both wrong, we at least got one right and one wrong.
Yeah.
Queen's Gambit won limited series, but it was Kate Winslet over Anya Taylor-Joy for actress. What do you think about that, Kyle?
I think if I look back, I'm trying to look back at my original list that I sent you, and I think that was who I had down as
it was a tough choice, and you probably had that. It was just like the thought of doing one and then doing the opposite, I felt like it just felt weird to me because it was like,
Yeah.
well, yeah, because then if let's say Anya won this and then Mare won that, we would be wrong on both of them.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah,
it's
I just think with Kate Winslet, she's like a star,
yeah.
you know, a recognizable name. Maybe people think Anya is going to be around. Maybe
Yeah.
she'll be back. I really think she's going to be a movie star rather than a television, person, but maybe later on in her career.
Well, yeah.
I
maybe
think
she'll
she's
pull
just
she'll pull a Kate Winslet and
Yeah.
be a movie star and then come back to TV.
Yeah, so I think it's, the youth factor. Maybe not as many people recognize her, and Kate Winslet is just a known fact, and she gave a great performance too.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can't really deny they're both fantastic.
One surprise, but I knew a win that you are excited about, Kyle, is Michaela Cole. She won for writing in a limited series for I May Destroy You.
Yes,
happy to
I'm
see
really-
that.
Yes, I'm really happy to see the show get some love. I think if the show was a little bit bigger, it would clean up, especially in the acting categories, like the performances, the characters and how they interact with each other is so well done. But I'm glad that she got some love for writing. This show deserves some recognition, and I hope more people watch it, even though the subject matter might be tough. And I didn't even know that it was, the subject matter was related to, Michaela's experience, which is even tougher to think about. But it's a show that I think should be watched, and recognize all the great talent that's in it that aren't stars that we see every day. And I know one of the guys was nominated, especially for the episode that he was nominated for. He's really, really great. But yeah, I binge watched this show. I really, really recommend it to people.
All right. Well, that's it for awards. We're going to talk about the ceremony. We're talking about how Cedric the Entertainer did as host.
Mm-hmm.
There were some moments. Let's start out the opening song. We get a tribute to Biz Markie,
Which was random, but I liked it.
Yeah, okay. Got a guy with a TV on his head. Oh, sure. LL Cool J, of course. It's a CBS production. He's coming out.
Yeah.
Little Dicky. Okay.
Yeah.
Then Rita Wilson starts rapping.
Yeah.
What is happening?
I liked it though. I did.
It was fun, but man,
it was
what
random.
What a way to start.
I know.
And then we get the monologue. We got some dad humor in there. But my biggest issue with some of these bits that he did was how they were a little old. They were maybe a little stale.
Oh my God, that's my biggest note. Is a lot of these jokes feel so dated.
Yeah, I mean, we the first one, you get greatest moments in television this past year, and I'm expecting him to do a montage of him inserted into classic scenes and episodes from the past year. Oh, Queen's Gambit. Oh, let's put him in The Crown. Let's do something like that. No, they put him in the viral video of Tom Brady throwing the trophy after the Super Bowl win. This isn't TV.
Yeah. And the main problem I had with this, and I didn't know how familiar you were with this, Dave, but I'm like, we're talking about a TV. How many people are familiar with this moment in relation to who watches the Emmys? You know what I mean? I mean, there might be a little bit of crossover, but not much. Yeah. So I'm sure some people were like, wait, what? What is happening?
Yeah. And so they have sports, which isn't really the Emmys categories, the overlap. But then we go into politics because we go even further back to the fly being on Mike Pence's head during the debate. This happened in October.
Yeah.
October. It's September 2021 now. It's a full year almost. Why are we doing this now?
Yeah. Yeah. Especially with everything that's happened since then, like January 6th and all this stuff. And now we're going back to, which to be fair, I mean, Dave has a recorded moment of me with this scene.
It was a funny moment. It was also a year ago.
Yeah, it was
I think
forever ago.
we've gotten the humor out of it. We're over it. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
let's not remember that anymore. But we had this Emmys support group, which I like the idea behind it. I like this idea, the support group for everyone who hasn't won an Emmy. The choices, though, were wild to me. Scott Bakula, Jason Alexander, Allison Hannigan, Zoe Deschanel. Jason 100% deserves to be in that chair. Definitely, he's wrongfully snubbed. But like, how many people really? Oh, Zoe Deschanel, man, she really needs that Emmy.
Yeah,
We're going to the streets for that. It's like, I like the Fred Savage cameo, but man, there's so many more people. Hugh Laurie, Steve Carell. I mean, just there's so many more people that I think were more memorable with their TV performance than some of these. But
doesn't mean you can get them, right, Dave?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. One person I think that stole the show, Conan O'Brien.
Oh my God, yes.
He's saluting the TV president during his spiel. He's running up on stage during Colbert's win.
Yeah.
Or it's just he saved the show at points. Like,
yeah.
Just being him, just giving no F's, just not caring. Just I'm off TV now. Let me just have some fun.
Yeah, because I mean, he has to think. I mean, I'm sure he'll be around and he'll have like, you know, little kind of things that he creates, but who knows if he's gonna make it back to this moment. And you know, probably after he found out he didn't win, he's like, you know what, I'm just gonna have a good time with it. And I can just see him thinking like those guys at the top who they come out like the PWC dudes and all that. It's like no one knows who they are, no one cares, so probably no one in the audience is paying attention.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm gonna bring up this and like really salute to this guy. It was fantastic.
Yeah. So those were some of the fun moments. There's some of these other moments where I think I'll see if I'm with you on this one. Worst speech of the night. The Queen's Gambit director.
Oh my God, dude.
So long.
Yeah, dude. And to be downright like
not caring about you're trying to play you off three times, and you just are ignoring it, and you're gonna read your 3 pages of single spaced speech here.
All right, I had a moment when because it was later in the night too. Yeah. That's a problem. So everyone's, you know, getting a little antsy in their pants, right? And this guy gets up on stage and you're like, okay, he's got some envelopes. Maybe he needs to mail something. Okay. And then he opens it up and you see the writing is all the way to the bottom of the page. And in my head, I'm going, oh no, please, no, please, God, no.
You don't have 7 episodes to tell your story here, man. You got 45 seconds in. I get it. It's like, oh, you're in this moment. Like, I've never won an Emmy, but I would want my moment in the sun. But you also have to think about the other people that are also up for Emmys. And if you hog all the time, you're taking time away from the other winners. Yeah. And then, you know, you never know if you're going to win any more awards, but this is for directing. You still have possibly winning limited series later. Like, you have that other shot to make another speech, maybe. It's like,
and you know, you have the press room too.
Yeah.
So he could have thanked Anya in the speech, thanked her, and then said in the press room, I just want to say, this is my thoughts on Anya. And I've told her this directly, but I want to make sure that you show it. And then, you know, Hollywood Reporter could run it like, man, this guy said, because the way he goes on about her is borderline like creepy. It's like, dude, are you trying to like get with her? Like, what is the deal here?
Yeah. It's just move it along. I mean, because after a while, it becomes noise, and you can't even focus because you got the music going, and it's like, if the music is going and they're not stopping, why even bother with the music then? Because it's like, either you bring up the music and you turn his mic down, or you cut to a commercial, or what, because it's not working.
Yep.
But my last thing I want to bring up, unless you have something, Kyle.
Yeah,
is,
I'm gonna bring up one or two things.
Yeah, so I got Hamilton win. I love Hamilton, but it doesn't belong here. It was
No, it
it
does
was
not.
a taped recording of a musical from 2016. So already it won a Tony. It was supposed to be a movie because it was supposed to go in theaters, but then it was released on a streaming service. So then it became Emmy eligible, and it won over a lot of great stuff, including Bo Burnham's Inside. But on the bright side of all this, Bo Burnham did win 3 at the Creative Arts Awards. He won Outstanding Writing, Music Direction, and Directing for a variety special. So those are pretty big ones. I mean, directing and writing a variety special, music over Hamilton. So those are some big ones. And then he actually has a record now for, I think it's like sole individual wins in a year, because people have won multiple ones in a year, but it's never been like written all by him, directed all by him, music all by him. So usually it's a team of people. So he got a record for that in a year. But anything that stood out to you, Kyle, that we missed?
I just want to bring up with the Hamilton thing. Like,
Yeah.
I was watching this. My girlfriend was in the other room. She heard, and she loves Hamilton.
Yeah.
She heard, wait, Hamilton is up for Emmys? Like, this doesn't make any sense. Yeah. And then she heard it won over Bo Burnham, and she's like, I wanted Bo Burnham to win. I really thought so it's just like this weird line. But I'm glad he did win some awards. So I wanted to bring up, and it was bugging the crap out of me, right?
Uh-oh.
We have the voiceover
Yes.
when the presenters come onto the stage, okay? But they don't start the voiceover early enough to where it's almost finishing as the person's getting there, okay? So we get this awkward moment where the presenter's just standing there staring into the TV, and this voiceover is saying something, right? And it's usually making like a joke at the end, and then the person has to be like, ha ha ha, laugh, because they have to be in on it, right? But it was so aggravating because it's like, finish the voiceover or start it earlier. You got to do something different because this is awkward. It's also taking up time.
Yeah.
And when you talk about the Emmys, when it goes 10 minutes over, those precious seconds add up, Yeah. So I was just
now
like,
Frank has to make another speech for Queen's Gambit. We need the time.
Yeah. So it just, to me, that was just annoying the crap out of me. And, it is, I understand it is a live production, and it felt like it got better at the end, but early on it felt like the camera work was like all off. We were cutting to like random things. The camera was getting bumped into. It's like maybe people weren't recognizing their spot. We saw some people cross in the back when Stephen Colbert's, it was like these weird moments. And
they're in a new venue. I don't know if it's that or if it's COVID protocols or what, but it was.
Yeah, there's just like there was, I think, 2 times where like we're on a shot, it's tracking, and then it literally like did like a Dutch angle because it got like bumped into something. I'm like, oh god, okay, what happened here? Again, it's a live production. It's not going to
win an Emmy next year for production here.
But. Yeah, like I get it. It's a live production. It's pretty wild, but it seemed pretty rough in the beginning, but it seemed to get better at the end. And those are the 2. And then I was going to bring up the swearing thing, but I already did that with you.
You did. All right. Well, that's it for Emmys, but we have a show in our coming attractions that's going to be an Emmy player for sure next year, and that is Succession. So, guys, let's talk about a coming attraction.
Here are some exciting coming attractions.
All right. Succession Season 3. It's going to drop on HBO on October 17th. The Roys are back, and I can't effing wait.
Yeah. It's gonna be good.
I'm pumped. And it's crazy because I remember when we talked about the premiere way back when for season 1, we were not feeling it. But man, I'm in. I'm doing a rewatch now, and we just started season 2 in the rewatch. Season 1 is so much better now that I know the characters and the arc that they go on. I can't wait to watch season 2. But season 3, this trailer has everything I think you need, and we'll break it down. But Kyle, your thoughts on this trailer for season 3?
Well, I'm just really, really excited to have it back. First off, when I see Kendall, I just want him to win this power battle so
Yeah.
much. I want him to get a redemption story. But I just don't think it's going to be in the cards. You know, all of these characters are just so good in their own unique ways. And, the dad is like a great evil villain.
He's like
And
a Shakespearean character. Like,
yeah, and his just the power and the gravitas that he has and that he wields in this family is just wild. uh Two things. One thing that I thought was funny from the trailer, and another thing that I'm going to be surprised about. First one, when they bring up the cyanide pills and he's like, no, it's just a mint, you idiot. And like that is like the stuff
that's
from
classic
Succession.
Greg and Tom. Like that
Yep.
energy, the humor. It's perfect.
Yep. And then the second one is if the dude from Ferris Bueller's Day Off, I can't remember his name.
Connor.
Connor, if he makes a power play and his father actually believes in him, or is like that's like his father's last ditch effort to like save it. But
I can't remember. Is he still running for president or
yeah,
thinking about it? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm curious to see how it all unfolds. Obviously, this is a slight spoiler for season 2, but it's the whole season is going to be Kendall versus Logan, and it's they mentioned in the trailer he wants his father to go down without also implicating him, and also keeping the company financially sound so Kendall can run it. So it's like, how can you juggle all these things? It's gonna be tough to do that. And then it's gonna be so good now, but I'm like, well, how long can this last? Because you can't do this for 6 seasons.
Yeah.
Like, this is like maybe one more season after this. Like this arc between Kendall and Logan can't last forever. There has to be some kind of resolution at some point. But right now it's going to be awesome to see how it all goes down. And, he's going to go full effing beast. That's what Logan was saying at the end. They're fighting. You got the slow down theme music that they're doing in which all trailers do, recently they all do that slow down theme song, but that's going on. You got some new characters, Adrian Brody and Alexander Skarsgård is going to be in it. And then, our good friend cousin Greg. You talked about the cyanide mint moment, but also he thinks the Pope is tweeting about them, and maybe it's not the Pope, it's a Pope, I don't know, but it's just like that again, the humor and the drama and everything mixed together. I can't wait.
Yeah, I think based on the past episodes, I think Shiv is going to be the deciding factor. And I think if the show wants to continue on in this like power struggle, I think it's going to revolve around her, because I think she's a real snake in the grass. She'll go whichever way the wind is blowing to try and, just look at what she does to the people in her own like marriage, let alone family and all this stuff. So it's a wild, these characters, man, wild.
Yeah. And it's interesting because I'm showing an image here for season 3, the poster, but HBO actually released multiple versions of the poster because they would have people on different sides. So even in the posters, it's not spoiling who's going to be on Team Kendall and who's on Team Logan. They switch the people around in the different posters. So what you're seeing on the Twitch stream isn't maybe the teams that we're going to be seeing. We don't know until season 3 starts. All right. We got to wait on that one, but there's 2 shows we can talk about that are starting and one that ended in the last week or so. Guys, send us back.
In time.
We're back, baby.
Gotta get back in time.
All right, we're talking about The Premise, the series premiere. There was actually 2 episodes. Social Justice Sex Tape and Moment of Silence. They both dropped on FX on Hulu on September 16th. It's an anthology series created by and mostly written and directed by BJ Novak, and it tells a single character-driven story about a current world issue in each episode. All right, this is going to be interesting to want to talk about because it's two completely different episodes. I know John saw the first one. Kyle has seen the first one and most of the second one. I've seen both. So there's a lot to unpack just between one episode, let alone two. But John, start me off. What did you think of just the first episode of The Premise?
I thought it was pretty good. Nothing that I would maybe go out of my way to see, but I didn't really have any reason to dislike it. I was a little confused by, like, why is BJ Novak on screen? Like, he just introduced it and then that was it. So I'm sure we'll discuss that. But yeah, other than that, yeah, it was interesting. There's a couple of good funny parts, and there's some parts where I was like, all right. But yeah.
Yeah, the first one definitely has a lot more humor than the second one. We'll talk about it when we're talking about both episodes. There's a line on this show. It's a very delicate balancing act between, real world issues and humor and satire and everything mixed in there. But Kyle, what did you think of the 1.5 that you've seen?
I really enjoyed the first one. Like John, I didn't think we need to see BJ Novak in the beginning. Like it's like one of those movie trailers where it's like, my movie's about blah, this. And it's like, dude, you don't need to come on. Like, the show is called The Premise. I get that it's like an anthology series. If you just, if I had any idea about it, but I get it. If you're just a casual viewer and you're come across it, maybe you need it. Okay. So I'll give it that. But I thought it was not necessary for the show. But I really enjoyed the first one. I thought it did. I thought the writing was really good and captured like Twitter speak really well, the social justice warrior thing. And it's just so absurd. It's like absurdly like outlandish, but you could also see this weirdly happening.
Yeah.
And so I thought these lawyer moments, they made for some like great comedic moments, but you really do have to do some suspension of disbelief because a lot of this would never, ever, ever happen in a million years. But I thought for what they were trying to portray, I thought it was really well done and really, really funny.
Yeah, I think you need to go like even with something like this, go more outlandish, and like that. I think that's what works like with the humor on this. So the first episode, Ben Platt is a white activist whose sex tape becomes a key piece of evidence in a trial where an innocent black man was wrongfully taken into custody, and like. So yeah, I mean, right there, you got some heavy real world issues, but then you're also laughing at Ben Platt's like awkward sex technique, in the episode, and it's just like there's this one line that I have where it's like, the prosecutor's like, well, she's more attractive than you, and then the other guy, objection, that's more opinion than fact, and then the judge is like, overruled, I'll allow this fact.
Yeah.
So yeah. So that's what I liked. I liked when we leaned into that and the comedy and the overtop, so we can really feel the satire of what they're kind of making a statement about. But yeah, it's a tight line that they're walking, because the second episode is a straight up drama. I thought this show going into it was a comedy, but then I looked it up. It's actually billed as a comedy drama. And we had one episode that was comedy and one episode that was drama. The second episode is about a grieving dad who lost his daughter in a shooting, takes a job at a PR firm for a gun lobby, and seemingly, at least throughout the episode, seems to be planning a mass shooting there. So it's like there's definitely lines of satire of what he's saying and what his character's beliefs are, but then it's involving a very dark subject matter. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work. And I think that's the pro and the con of an anthology like this. Each episode could be hit or miss, depending on your taste and the story and what's going on and the tone. Like you could get like an episode that you love and then immediately the next one you hate, or vice versa. That's the pro and con of it.
Yeah. It almost feels like at least with the first one and half of the second one, a lighter Black Mirror
Yeah, I could see that.
with
That's what I was thinking,
its
yeah.
with its kind of connection to pop culture and what's, this is more based in today's culture, whereas Black Mirror's kind of almost using today to predict the future. This is more set and commentating on today's culture, but I find the parallels very similar.
Yeah, and they're definitely commenting on stuff going on, and like in the first episode, it's like they're talking about the tape that we're seeing in the courtroom, and it's like, this will discuss you. It is horrific, and then it's like, well, they're talking about the tape here,
Yeah.
but in a larger sense, they're talking about a tape that we would see in a trial of an innocent Black man,
Mhm.
in a courtroom across the country. Like, and he actually says at the end, like, is this what it takes? Videos, need to be shocking every time.
Mhm.
Again, talking about the Ben Platt tape, but actually talking about real life tapes as well. And
Yeah.
so there's a lot to unpack with this, and it's only in 30 minutes. So there's a lot, of
Mhm.
setup, because every episode's new characters, new story. Sometimes, it can be pulled off. Sometimes it can't. But so far, yeah, I kind of liked the first episode just because I think I was looking for that humor. The second episode is definitely heavier subject matter. So it could be tough for some viewers. But the one thing I think we all agree on is the BJ Novak thing at the top. I thought this was completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
It was like trying to be a Rod Serling type
Yeah.
thing, but he's not saying anything. Like,
Yeah.
Rod Serling would set up the episode and give us a parallel, but like, this is the premise. Yeah, I see the title card. I know it's the premise. Like, I don't need this.
And he's in all the marketing too, so it's like,
Yeah,
you don't know what
he's
the show
billboards.
is.
and there's some good people. Like, I get it. He's famous from
Mhm.
The Office, and The Office is a huge show. But like, there's some famous people in this: Ben Platt, Tracy Ellis
Mhm.
Ross, John Bernthal, Lucas Hedges, Caitlin Deaver, Daniel Day. There's so many people. Like,
Yeah. And going off of that, I think, yeah, the BJ Novak thing in the beginning doesn't work at all. But I think the way the show is set up, I think they have a good plan of getting. You could get some really good top performers if you just say, "Hey, I've got one episode. How does this subject matter or script fit you?" And get some like crazy good performers that would love to, do that one episode, and then not have a time commitment or have to be on there for 7 seasons. You
and
know
then
what I mean?
get a guest acting Emmy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I
Have
think
one
it's
of
a good idea.
Have one of the actors announce the episode if you need to have something set at the front, especially if you got these big names. Have somebody say, hey, thanks for watching. We're doing XYZ because XYZ, blah, 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 whatever. Like, why does it have to be?
Yeah. If anything, it should be at the end of the episode as like, okay, this is what we talked about in this episode. This, blah, blah, blah. Like, but the first episode, like, when all he says, like, in the second episode, this is the premise, and then you see like quiet on set, and like it's like I know what you're trying to do there because it's before the moment of silence, like title card. I see what you're quiet on set. I see what you're doing, but it's like it's not necessary. Like, it's just extra. It's a little sprinkle on top. It's like, it's not adding anything to the show. If you were going to say like, okay, this episode is going to be about this, it's going to take on this topic, it's going to deal with this, you're going to give us some exposition that we need, but none of that's there.
Yeah, and I don't know, is it to bring viewers in by having BJ Novak's face on there? I mean, I don't know if BJ Novak is known well enough to warrant him sitting in front of the camera like he is, Rod Serling. And also, he has not only his face, but how well does he want to be attached to this thing? Clearly a lot, because not only do we have him, then we have 2 title cards in the beginning, directed by and written by BJ Novak. We get it, dude. This is your show. It's very good. Okay. What?
We get it. But yeah, so it's going to depend if I watch more episodes. I mean, obviously it's going to depend on the premise. Like, it's going to depend on, what the topic is and who's in it. But, because I think there's some good performances going on. I think some of the writing's good. So it's just going to depend. I think it's going to depend. But
Yeah, I definitely like the writing. I think especially with the first episode, I thought it captured. Obviously, it's kind of outlandish, a little over the top, but it's capturing that Twitter speak, that social justice warrior, and then yeah, it's just really, really well done. And I do think the writing is really, really good in that first one. And I'm still making my way through the second. I am enjoying the second one. I'm enjoying the performances more in the second one. So
John Brinkhall,
yeah, the one thing I will say that didn't work for me at the end of the first episode, and it felt forced and fake, was at the end when we see the defendant, he gets found not guilty. He makes his speech, and then we cut back to the other lawyer sitting in her office, and she's like, yes.
And then she writes down like 2 words.
I'm like, what?
Yeah.
No, we didn't need that. We did
pretty
not
bad.
need that at all.
We need
But-
BJ Novak to come in. See, guys, this means not guilty.
Yeah.
All right. One other show to talk about tonight. One show is ending. This show is ending. The other show's beginning. It's Brooklyn Nine-Nine, the series finale, the last day. It also was on September 16th. In the finale, the 99th precinct braces for the last heist before Holt and Amy leave the precinct, but also Jake is planning to leave and is going to use this heist as a perfect goodbye to reveal his retirement too. I've seen all of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I've kept up with the season. I think Kyle dropped out, somewhere along the way, but came back for the finale. So we got 2 different perspectives on this. Kyle, what did you think of the finale?
I enjoyed it. I mean, I felt like I could jump right back in with this series finale because it brought up a lot of the good moments from the past seasons that I watched, and I didn't not recognize any of the characters. I recognize, those recurring characters that they brought in. The heist idea I was familiar with. So I've seen a lot of Brooklyn Nine-Nine up through, I think, through season 5 or midway through season 5. And I did enjoy it. I did enjoy this, these last couple of episodes here. To me, the pacing was crazy fast.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's always like that, but it was like, cut, joke, quick. Now we're over here. Over here. And I'm like, was it always like that? I don't remember it being like that. It just felt like they wanted to get so much in, and I get it, but it just felt a little like a little bit jarring that when it did slow down for those dramatic moments, they didn't hit for me. They almost felt forced because it felt like the opposite of the rest of the episode, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of great jokes, plenty of good lines. When we get to see all the characters kind of going through it, and it was enjoyable. It was cool to see.
Yeah, I definitely noticed that pace. And I couldn't tell at first, is this a normal episode? But it felt more normal than the rest of the season to me. It felt like what I've been kind of missing this season on the show in this final season. Definitely felt the fast pace. It felt the jokes. It felt the Brooklyn Nine-Nine silliness. Because this season, there was points where it got pretty heavy. I don't envy the spot they were in coming back after everything that's happened in the last year or so involving cops and law enforcement and everything going on with that. And they only had 9 episodes to do this final season, and they spent a lot of time with kind of these more special episodes. And it's hard to do those so often and make them funny when you're dealing with serious subject matter. It as we talked about with the premise, it's a fine line to be on. I mean, we see a little bit, with Rosa and Jake leaving the force. Holt and Amy are going to go take on police reform. There was a lot of that this season, talking about good cops, bad cops, could there be both? There was a lot of heavy subject matter that they dealt with for a sitcom. And so that's where I was like, yeah, this final season, there's a lot to do in just these 9 episodes, and we're spending time on that. But then this final episode, it goes back to the classic Brooklyn Nine-Nine hijinks that we've come to see over these last 8 or 9 years. And you know, I will say it felt a little bit of fan service in this episode, but it's a finale. It's going to have those moments. And I did have a good time watching this final episode. You got guest stars coming back, you know, Gina's back, Pimento, Fred Armisen playing a Fred Armisen type.
Yeah.
You know, they're joking specifically about like the viral Backstreet Boys cold open. Like they're calling it out. It's such a viral moment on the show. They're kind of recreating it here. They're talking about the opening credits and a certain shot in the opening credits. It's just like very meta, very inside baseball, but it's the last episode. They're having fun with it.
Yep. But I like that. I like those jokes. I thought they hit well. But I like that we got Jason Mantzoukas there. He came back. You got to tell me what's going on with Joe Latrulia's hair, though. What is that? Is that real, or what's going on there?
I don't know what's going on.
It's like, dude, just go bald, man. What is going on there? I take it from a fellow bald man. Just let it happen, bro. Dude, it looks so
Speaking
bad.
of bald men, I am sad we didn't get a Bruce Willis cameo. We got Reginald VelJohnson from Die Hard, but no Bruce throughout the series of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's like, okay, I get it, movie star, but they got Bill Murray, they got Paul Rudd on, and Vice President Biden on Parks and Recreation. You can't get Bruce Willis to stop making those straight to Redbox DVD movies to just do a 1 second scene in this. Come on.
Yeah.
There was a line though that like I think Jake says in the episode, and they said they asked him, it's like, quote, "I will not engage with something like that." And obviously it's a joke there, but I'm also kind of hoping that was like a direct quote. Like they sent an email to his agent and it's like, no, he's not going to engage with something like that. But that's what I'm hoping, that they just pulled that from an email. But
that would be fantastic.
But
yeah, dude, I thought it was really good. I did enjoy it. It was fun to kind of be put back in that world. I honestly don't know if I'll go back and go through and watch it all. But for that last little bit, it was nice to relive the magic moments, so to speak.
Yeah, and we got a heartfelt moment between Jake and Holt at the end, like this kind of father-son relationship they've always had. They make a joke about finales. They turn the lights off, and it's like, you can't do that at a working precinct. Like, and you know, the smile, the elevators close, and I think that would have been fine. I don't know if I needed the tag at the end about a yearly Halloween heist. It was a nice little fun thing, and I wouldn't mind in real life that like every year Brooklyn Nine-Nine comes back with like a special, like, you know, like you know, on Peacock maybe, you know, they just do a one episode thing. I feel like it's time to enter something. Is it time to leave Brooklyn Nine-Nine and talk about something in Kyle's corner?
Kyle's. Well, for those of you that can't see what's happening, they have posted some photos of me looking so stupid. But back when I had hair, man.
Those are the best ones I had on my phone. So that's what we had going on.
I'm just glad you didn't put Kyle with a C. So that's an inside joke.
Oh, yeah, I should have done that.
But
what's the topic in Kyle's corner? Because this is a new segment, Kyle, and I think it could be an ongoing one. It could be like the Andy Rooney of 60 Minutes here.
Could be. This is going to be my airing of grievances over Peacock, and specifically what they are doing in the sports realm. Okay. I know we don't talk about sports here, but I think it's a big deal in relation to Peacock. And John, I'm realizing now I have sent Peacock a strongly worded message over Twitter, and I should have given that to you so you could have posted it, because it is insane to me that this day and age you can have, you know, a recorded DVR, you know, and be able to rewind, fast forward for live sports, right? You can pretty much do that anywhere. If you watch live sports on Peacock, they will not give you that option. Okay. And here's why I'm going to tell you it's a problem with the Premier League and soccer specifically, but I know it's a problem with WWE too. Okay. Soccer is 45 minutes of action with no commercial breaks. So please tell me why I cannot rewind back to the beginning of the game and watch the beginning of the game. I don't get it. I'm able to do it on YouTube TV. I can do it on other streaming services. I do not understand this. It's not like I'm going to fast forward through any commercials. I do not get it. And the other problem with this Peacock Premier League thing is that they are airing massive matches on Peacock rather than the TV channels. And then we've talked about this before, I think on the podcast, but maybe just in our Twitter stuff or our group chats, that they will sometimes only air the games on the TV, but then you won't be able to get it on Peacock later. And some you can get. And so it's like you have to play this game of, well, is it going to be on Peacock? Can I rewind it? Do I have to wait? Like, it's just the stupidest thing. So you're telling me I've got to wait. If I can't join mid-game, I have to wait till the game is over, then come back later, because I don't even know when they upload it. I don't think it's immediately. I think you have to wait, okay? And then go back and rewind it, and then I can watch it, and then fast forward and rewind all I want. It doesn't make any sense.
We're trying to give these services money. Take our money. We want to watch your stuff. And they're making it so hard to watch anything. We talked about it last week with it's on FX linear, but not this show. This show will be on Netflix next year, but this one will be on Hulu the next day. And there's FX on Hulu. So it's like, I'm talking with people. It's like, oh, this show came back. I don't even know when that show, where is it? Where can I find it?
Yeah.
Like, I'm talking to John, I think earlier. Where is Brooklyn Nine-Nine to watch? Is it on Peacock?
No
I think it's on Hulu the next day, maybe.
Yeah.
It's like,
But
we're
where
trying
are
to
the
watch your
Pack
stuff.
episodes? Where can I
Yeah,
go
it's like-
watch the first 6 seasons? Like, I have no idea where it is. No clue.
It's just, it's so aggravating. And I know, because I went down a rabbit hole, because I'm like, I can't be the only one mad about this. This is insane. And I saw more stuff about WWE. And now, if you're the WWE who doesn't care because they just signed a gajillion-dollar deal with Peacock and NBC Universal, but if you're the Premier League, right, you have a fan base that has been set up. NBC used to have the best coverage of the Premier League, and it's grown the fan base. But now they're actively sabotaging the Premier League fan base because people are upset left and right. And I know that there's former soccer players that are now pundits that talk about this, and they're directly ruining the viewership of this. And I hope Barclays and the Premier League eventually goes, here's a big giant middle finger. We're going to go elsewhere. Okay. Because this is so stupid.
Yeah, I don't know if this is what I'm about to say is a hot take, but I don't think the whole Peacock experiment has worked this last whatever year or two. Sure, there's a couple shows that are somewhat popular, but man, it's just a confusing app. It's a glitchy app. It's just not working. Let's just make it NBC, make your own thing again, but just something else. This isn't working.
Yeah. And so last thing I'll mention about Peacock, and this is just in general with Peacock, they've got like 85 tiers. Okay.
Yep.
And my
It's all
my
based
girl-
on The Office. How many Office episodes you can watch is each tier.
So I don't have the actual subscription. Somebody else does, and I use it. So it's my girlfriend's subscription on here. And every time I go to use it, I'm like, wait, why am I getting ads here? I thought we had the ad-free version. And they're like, well, it's ad-free. And it doesn't make any sense. I don't get it. I don't understand. But she is paying for something that I think is supposed to be ad-free, but we get ads sometimes. It's the dumbest thing. And it's making me so mad. I'm doing the Trump accordion with my hands. Okay.
Oh no.
Jeez.
Is that a fly in your head too? I don't know. Just kidding. Just kidding. Well, all right. That is the first installment of Kyle's Corner. We'll see what the next monologue will be in the future. But that's all we got for tonight. Next week we're gonna have 2 new shows to talk about. An Apple TV Plus show, a big budget one, Foundation, and then spooky season is near. New Netflix series from the guys who brought you The Haunting of Hill House. It's Midnight Mass. So here we go again. Make sure you're following us on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram at Dual Redundancy. And then, all of our episodes are on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, the blog, dualredundancy.com, and Twitch, twitch.tv/Dual Redundancy. Yeah, Dark's in the chat. Wait, I just got the notification that you guys went live. It's Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern on Twitch. That's when you got to join us. Don't worry about that Central Time zone. It's 8 p.m. Eastern on Twitch. But yeah, I got to thank both of you guys for joining me tonight, watching all this stuff, especially to John. I'm giving him last minute things to make new graphics of Kyle's heads for the pod. The back and forth I bugged him with. I can't thank you guys enough, and thank you, John, for doing all that and doing the show, putting it up on iTunes. Thank you guys. All right. Well, until next week, I'm David Allen.
I'm John Berwick.
And I'm Kyle Bridger.
And that's all we got for Dual Redundancy. Goodbye, everybody.